Hi there, this is Mr. Jones, and I'd like to help you with solving proportions. Now remember, a proportion is an equation in which one ratio is equal to another. Okay, you can see in the illustration in the box provided that A over B is equal to C over D. That would be a proportion. A over B is one ratio, and C over D is a second. Well, the cross-product property of proportions enables us to cross-multiply. In other words, multiply the numerator of the first ratio times the denominator of the second. And that product is equal to the product of the denominator of the first multiplied by the numerator of the second ratio. Okay, so if A over B is equal to C over D, then we can cross-multiply. And therefore, A times D is equal to B times C. All right, you can see in the example that the two ratios shown, 2/3 and 8/12, are equal. 8/12 reduces to 2/3. But it's easy to test that when you have a proportion, because you can simply multiply 2 times 12, and that's 24. And 3 times 8 is also 24, so you know that those two ratios are equal. Now you can also use the cross-product property of proportions to solve proportions when there's a piece of information that's missing. Okay, so let's see if we can look at an example of how we would use the cross-product property of a proportion to solve. Right, suppose you have a jar of peanut butter, and you can see from the label that it contains 800 grams of peanut butter, and it consists of approximately 5,000 calories for the total jar. If you know that a single serving contains about 32 grams of peanut butter, how many calories would there be in a single serving? All right, well, let's start the process by relating the information in the problem. So if I took the single serving grams, or the size of the single serving in grams, to the size of the whole jar in grams, and made that one ratio, then I should be able to set that equal to the single serving number of calories to the whole jar number of calories, right? It's the portion over the total in each of the ratios. Well, the part that we're looking for, the part that's unknown, is how many calories there would be in a single serving. Okay, so that's going to be my variable. I'll let x represent the number of calories in a single serving, and then I should be able to write an equation. Okay, the single serving grams is 32, so 32 over 800 should equal the number of the number of calories in a single serving over 5,000, the total number of calories. Okay, so there is my proportion. And now I should be able to solve that by using the cross-product property. All right, 32 times 5,000, that gives me 160,000, and that should equal 800 times x. Okay, so when you have a proportion, I can simply cross-multiply. All right, and that equation now should enable me to solve for x by using the rules for isolating variables that we've gone over a number of times. I want to find x, so I'm going to have to divide each side by 800 in this case. Okay, 800 divides into 800 one time. That leaves me with x, which is what I want. On the left side, I can eliminate two zeros, and 8 divides into 1,600 200 times. Okay, so it tells me that a single serving in this particular jar of peanut butter is approximately 200 calories. Okay, and that'll enable me to decide how many peanut butter sandwiches I can eat for lunch and not mess my diet up too badly. All right? Well, I think that if you follow those simple guidelines for setting up proportions and for solving, that you should be able to do fine. So I urge you to work carefully and work well.